If you haven't joined me, I'm Debra Harrison with Simply Sweet and Neat Designs, and I am delighted to have you craft with me today. I love sharing with you each week fun ways to use the Stampin' Up! Products. And this week, I'm going to teach you how to figure out the math to make a box for a custom box for maybe a particular object. I don't know if you've ever had a particular gift that you wanted to give to somebody and you needed a box that fit that particular item just precisely. So I'm going to share with you how to make that style of box. Now, last week, I shared with you how to make this box. So you can go back and watch the replay for that. It is a clamshell type of box, but what we're going to do today is we're going to make a box for a candle. I have recently learned or taught myself how to make candles. It kind of all started over the holidays. I bought this really beautiful wooden trough that had a candle inside, and of course I burned it over the holidays, but I wanted to keep using it as a candle. So I thought, well, how hard could it be to make a candle, right? Well, I will tell you, it is more than just melting wax and adding fragrance. I have definitely learned a lot, but I am having a blast making candles. So this is one of the candles that I made. I don't know if you can see. And I've even been learning how to do custom labels using ChatGPT. Thank goodness it's got some really awesome things that I can use to decorate the lids of my candles. However, I wanted to make a box that fit this particular candle. And so this clamshell version wouldn't work because this size candle would mean that I would need a piece of cardstock that was over 12 inches long. So to accommodate that, what I did is I designed a box that has a lid on it. So today I'm going to share with you how to make this box and teach you the math on how to figure it out for whatever object you want to make a box for. Before we get into the project though, I do want to share with you couple things that are actually, sign up is getting ready to close pretty soon. And actually it'll close before I see you again next Friday. Real quick though, on Tuesday this week, I did do a craft along with the Love Notes designer series paper. I have one kit left. If you are interested, it is $46 shipped to you, has the pre-cut supplies, has some consumables. I would love to be able to put this in the mail for you tomorrow so that you can get it in time for Valentine's. So if you're interested, send me a message. That's the last one I have left. Also, the product of the month is the Fabulous Saying stamp set. It is still currently available, at least as when I checked recently. But you can get this product of the month, this stamp set, for $5 with your order of $75 or more. Also, until February 2nd, you can earn a $5 coupon for every $50 you spend. So if you were to spend $75, you would earn one coupon for the bonus days that you would be able to redeem in February. Plus you'd be able to purchase the stamp set, the product of the month, for $5. So really awesome deal in January. Also, in addition to what Stampin' Up! Is doing, I have collaborated with 11 other demonstrators, and we have designed 12 projects for you using the Fabulous Saying stamp set, and that you can earn that tutorial free with your order of $75 or more. Just make sure you select me as your demonstrator, and once I receive your order for notification of the $75 or more, I will send you that PDF for free. This is my project that I made for the tutorial, just a really pretty fun fold card using using two of the sentiments and embossing them in white. Also, this is going to close on Thursday. The February Sweet Creations Club is going to be featuring the Lovely Arrangements bundle using the Lovely Blossoms Designer Series paper. Sign up for the subscription period for the February kit does close next Thursday, February 5th, 2026. As part of that kit, you will be making 4 cards. This is a really cute little pop-up, little tent fold card or easel card, as well as a gift box. And it does include, $22, $25 in consumable products. And also your cardstock pieces will be cut for you. You do need the inks. You're going to need the embossing items, as well as the Lovely Arrangements bundle to be able to create the projects as I have designed them. Or you can substitute with another floral set of your choice that you may have in your stash. Now, what I have special going on for the February kit only is if you join my club as a brand new subscriber, you've never subscribed with my club before, if you subscribe by February 5th, 2026, I'm going to give to you in your February club kit 2 free gifts. It's going to be a package of the Stampin' Dimensionals as well as a travel chamois so that you can use this to clean your stamps. And then, of course, rinse out. It's like a little sponge, and you can rinse it out and keep reusing it. Now, this travel chamois will get stained over time. That's just the nature of the chamois. But it's really great to have this on hand so you don't have to bring your big chamois, like particularly if you're going to be crafting outside the house or something, or just to have this nearby. Now, if you are part of my club currently, or you have been in my club before and would like to resubscribe, you can do so by February 5th, 2026, and I will be including this in your February kit. Those who are already subscribed, don't worry about it. You're already in, okay? So you don't have to you don't have to resubscribe or anything like that. This is just for those who maybe want to resubscribe. They're going to get this added into their club kit for February. All right. Let's see. It's just a really fun little gift from me for my February club members. All right, so let's get into the project today. Now, I have put somewhere, here it is. So today I'm going to share with you, like I said when I first hopped on, I have been teaching myself how to make candles. Having a blast. It is so much fun. I hope to offer a candle and cards class sometime here in San Antonio. I'm still kind of perfecting my learning. I want to be able to give my customers the cliff notes of all my candle learning before I actually embark on a candle and cards class. I'm getting really close. I will definitely tell you my vocabulary has expanded in the past few weeks. I now have terms like hot throw and cold throw and scent load and calculating percentage for scent load and all that. It's just melting temp and pouring temp. It's all very, very different, but it's so much fun to learn. Kind of like card making. We kind of learn as we go, right? And we improve on our craft. So like I said, I wanted to make a box very specific to this particular candle. Now, I did share with you several weeks ago, I showed you how to make this box. Similar concept, okay? However, this was just generic box. I didn't really have any particular purpose for it. This box, though, I wanted it for a particular purpose for my candle. So there is something I want you to jot down, or actually you don't have to jot it down, because if you're on my email list, you'll have the tutorial that will include this formula. So when you are making a box, and this is for lidded boxes, which this one would be, it has a base and it has a lid. What you're going to do is you're going to use this formula. You're going to want to know 3 things about your object. One, you're going to want to know the length. The length would just be the longest part. In this case, mine was 3 1/4. You want to know the width, and of course it's a circle, so it's going to be exactly the same, but that would be your shortest distance. Then you're going to want to know the height, and the height is just the height of your object. In my case, is 2 1/8. I rounded mine up to 2 1/4. So I have 3 1/4 for my length, and my height is 2 1/4. So when I do the math, let me do a little bit of math here. We'll show you how I got to this. What did I say? We have the length is 3 1/4 plus 2 times my height, which is 2 1/4. So that's 3 1/4 plus 4 1/2. So that means that the length of my cardstock is going to need to be 7 3/4. All right, now in this case, because my length and my width are exactly the same, that means my length is going to be 7 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches for my width, okay? Then, if you remember the height of my object, so I'm gonna cut cardstock. Tell you what, let's just do it as we go along. So what I have here, like I said, there are my, that's for something else. Sorry, wrong one. Okay, so I have here a piece of thick basic white cardstock that measures 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. Okay, that's great. Now I need to know, what do I need to score it at? Now, going back to my original measurements, it was 2 1/4 for my height. So each side is going to be scored at 2 1/4. So I have right here 2 1/4. So all my sides scored at 2 1/4. All right, so now let's figure out, that's gonna be the base of my box. So here in a moment, we'll show how to cut that, but while I'm here and have my scoreboard out, I'm gonna show you how to do the lid. Now the lid, very, very similar concept. The only difference is that I only want my height to be 1 1/4. Now the length, or my, so instead of doing, so let's see, if we have, let's go back and redo the math here. So now my height has changed. Instead of it being 2 1/4, now it's 1 1/4. So let's redo the formula. So we have 3 1/4 for the length plus 2 times the height, which is no longer 2 1/4. Now it is 1 1/4. So that is going to be 3 1/4 plus 2 1/2, which is 5 3/4. Now again, I'm doing a square, so it's going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 for my lid. And again, I'm doing it in basic white, or thick basic white, because I want a nice sturdy box. So there are my measurements. 3 1/4, 3 1/4. Oops, that was for the wrong one. Sorry, ignore that one. That was for my base. So this is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. I've got all kinds of notes here and I'm just messing myself up. Okay, remember, I don't want it 2 1/4 anymore. I want my lid to only have a height of 1 1/4. So it's going to be 1 1/4. Oh, but I don't want to just do it like I did before, because have you ever noticed when you make a box, if your lid is too tight, it causes the box underneath to pucker? Well, you can avoid that by using a shim. And in the tutorial tomorrow, I do have a link to the just a way to make the shim that I have here. And to use the shim, you're going to snap it onto the side of your scoreboard. Now, if you don't have a shim, you can just take a piece of your designer series paper backing and you can just use that as your shim. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to gently rest the side of your cardstock up next to your shim, and you're going to score it at, in my case, 1 1/4. And we'll do that on all 4 sides. And then we have it. Okay, so I know that was a lot of math. Like I said, just this is your formula for making boxes. And so I do have in the tutorial tomorrow, if you're on my email list, you're going to get a breakdown of the base, the math that I use to be able to determine this, as well as the sample that I used. Then I also am going to have for you a fill in the blank worksheet that you can do the calculations yourself based on the custom box that you would like to make. So if you're not on my email list, make sure you subscribe by 3 o'clock Central Time tomorrow so that you can get this project sheet as well as the worksheet to be able to make your custom box. Really easy to subscribe. I do have that link in the video description. My project sheets are a free perk to my email list subscribers. So I would love for you to be able to have that in your crafting arsenal. Okay, so now let's decorate this up. So I have my base of my box. I have my lid. I'm going to leave that up in the corner for you. So if you want to jot down that formula on making boxes. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut up the score lines. And I'm just going to miter each edge. Help my box have a nice clean finish to it. Okay, rotate it, turn it all the way around, do the same thing on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to burnish my score lines. And this is just for the base of the box. which this is the one where my jar candle is gonna sit in. And then we'll pretty up the lid of our box with some designer series paper. Okay, so here we have all of this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our tabs, we're gonna push them to the inside, and we're going to glue. So that will create the base of our box. Hello, everybody. I see several of you hopped on. I see you, Angela. Yes, I loved meeting you too at Backstage. Now, she lives in New Zealand, so she's not somebody I get to see very often. So that was a special treat. Let's see, Liz is on. Let's see, Lori and Joan, Anita, Jana, Jan. I know there were some others. I'm seeing more of you. Sarah, Paula. Oh my goodness, several of you are on today. Have any of you already like done custom boxes? Like you use a formula to make your own boxes. This was a game changer for me, being able to know how to figure this out so I can make it for whatever I needed it to. Okay, so there's the base of the box. My candle's gonna sit inside. It's got just a little bit of wiggle room, but not a whole lot because I don't want it like, just floating around and rattling around inside. Okay, so let's work on the lid of the box. Now this, I did use a shim, and I did notice Liz's comment. She's asking, what did you use to make your shim besides the acetate paper? So for the shim, I did put, I want to say it's a 1 inch by 5.5 inch piece of cardstock, and then I just scored it down the middle at 1/2 inch. I used some tear and tape to be able to adhere it onto my acetate. But what you can use is, if you don't have the acetate or you don't want to make that, you can just take a little piece of cardstock, or you can take a piece of the designer series paper backing and just rest it up on the side of your scoreboard and just use that as your shim as well. All right, so now we're going to work on the lid. Do the same thing. We're just going to snip up those score lines to make our tabs. It is really hard to see score lines on white paper. They just kind of blend in. All right, so now I have this. I'm just going to burnish my score lines real quick so that I can see my lines a little bit better. And then we're just going to add some pretty paper. And for this project, I am using the True Blue Florals Designer Series paper. That was the product of the month for December, but it looks like it's still available. So you can also get it, add it to your order for $5 with a $75 order until it sells out. So just keep that in mind. If you're shopping and you want one of the products of the month, you have 2 to choose from. You can't do like a $150 order and get both of them. You would have to split the order and do 2 separate $75 qualifying orders in order to get both available product of the month. Okay, so I'm just going to glue my tabs. And you know what I was going to do? And I totally forgot. I was going to add the designer series paper, but that's okay. We'll add it on afterwards. It can totally go on later. I kind of like to do it when it's flat. It's a little bit easier to work with, but that's okay. We'll make it work. I am going to, and by using the shim, it will fit nicely onto my box base without having any of that puckering. So it's on there securely, but not like super snug and not super loose as well. Okay, so for my designer series paper, I use, let me see, it is 3 3 3/8. So I'm going to go in a quarter. So that's going to be 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. That's going to go there on the top. And then for my side, it is 1 1/4. So I'm going to reduce a 1/4 inch. That's 1 inch. And again, it's going to be 3 1/8. So I have 4 of these that measure 1 by 3 1/8. And that's going to go around the sides of my box. Now, one of the things that I decorated my box with was for the February craft along, it's going to be featuring the Easter time ephemera pack to be able to, and the little puffy stickers to be able to make 12 cards. And it's really, really cool. I'm loving how the projects turned out. They're super adorable. But in the cardstock, I use the Memories and More. Let's see, it's called Days Like This, Memories and More card pack. And I had just a couple of, well, pieces. I had one full card left over from my design, and I thought, you know what, I have to figure out a way to be able to use it up. And so what I had left over was this one. It's the 3x4 card from the Days Like This Memories and More pack, and I just cut it in half. And then I also too had just some little pieces of yellow print from the Memories and More cards. And so what I did for that is I just banner snipped it right here. And I'm just going to make a little banner. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this in half, or actually I already cut it in half because I used half on here and I'm using the other half on our box today. But before I do that, I did die cut a circle out in Lemon Lolly cardstock, and it measures 2.5 inches. So, and I cut this out with the Stylish Shapes dies. So I'm going to just put that right there on the top of my lid. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of glue my little banner, my yellow banner on top. Just add just a little bit of glue at the top. I'm going to just kind of angle it because I want my little pretty butterfly to show. And then I'm going to pop it up with dimensionals. And I'm just going to glue it, put it right there on top. And then there was another thing in the puppy stickers. Let me see if I can find those puppy stickers. I do not have them here. All right, I thought I did. So as part of that Easter time craft along that's going to be in February, that kit, when I was designing, I had 2 puppy stickers left over. I had this one, the blue and the yellow flowers. Then I had one that had purple and blue flowers. And I thought, you know what? I want to use every single puppy sticker. So I used one for this box, and I'm going to use the other one for this box right here. And so I'm just going to put it right here onto my tag, decorate it up. And then what I did is I took the Balmy Blue gingham ribbon, and I'm going to add that on in the middle of that little circle wreath with a mini glue dot. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a sentiment. Now on this one, this is from the Greetings for All sentiment pack, or the ephemera pack. I'm going to use a different sentiment that says best wishes today. And I'm just going to glue that right on and finish up the box. All right, there we go. So that is a custom box that I made specifically for the candle that I made to gift to somebody. Now you're wondering, can this formula work also for a rectangle box? And yes, it can. You can use the exact same formula to make a candle box, or to make a box for a rectangular shape. And so for that one, I have these 2 little mini candles that I made that I wanted to gift. And so for this one, I just changed things up. I figured out what the full length was, what the width was, what the height was, and I came up with a box measurement that was 5.5 by 7 1/8, and my height was 1 5/8. So I score all the sides at 1 5/8. And then my lid Again, I wanted my lid to be a little bit shorter, so after I ran the formula for the box math, my cardstock is 4¼ by 6�3/8, and I scored all of the edges at 1 inch. So I do have this in the tutorial for you to show you. It's on the second page of the tutorial. You'll be able to find that in tomorrow's email so that you can see the box math that I used to create that rectangular box. So really fun way to be able to make custom boxes for your different gifts. I'm going to go back and answer Jean's question. Jean is saying about you can get the product of the month with 2 separate orders of $75. Yes. And then she's saying the project of the month was 1 per month per email address account. That is something I don't want to get into because when I'm speaking just one email account. Like if you have one Stampin' Up account, then it would be 1 product of the month for your Stampin' Up account. How you determine that is up to you, but you can only get a maximum of 1 for your Stampin' Up account. So I'm going to say it that way. Okay. Now I did want to share with you, and I forgot to mention it earlier. I know several of you have already signed up, but I did want to share with you the February craft along. If you were joining my craft along on Tuesday, you already got a sneak peek of this, but if you haven't seen them yet, really cute cards, and it's a really ambitious craft along, but super easy. So if you would like to join me on Tuesday, February 24th at 2 o'clock Central Time, I'll be sharing with you how to make 12 really easy cards with the Memories and More pack, with that cute Easter time ephemera, the puffy stickers, all kinds of fun stuff. The cost for the kit is $54 shipped to you, and it does include the cardstock pieces that you will need and all of those, and the $25 in consumable supplies. You'll basically be getting a half a pack of pretty much everything, and you will use pretty much everything. You might want to keep in mind that you'll have just a couple of pieces left over, and today's project shows you how to use those leftover pieces. So if you would like to sign up for this craft along kit, the sign up does close on February 8th, 2026, and then I will order the supplies and ship the project kit to you by February 14th, and then the craft along will be on February 24th. Cost again is $54. I can't remember if I may have given you the wrong price. I have so many prices in my head, but it's $54 to make the 12 cards in that craft along kit. And you can find the registration link for that craft along in today's video description. And I'm going to go back real quick and look and see if I missed any comments. Okay, I think I have answered all the comments that I saw come through. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this live to show you how to make a custom gift box using that math formula or that box formula. All right, guys, y'all take care, and we will see you next Friday at 3 o'clock Central Time for another fun project. Take care. Bye, guys.